Hello, my name is FRANCESFOX, and I am a trained government remote viewer, though I never got compensated for the work that I did for the government, though I did get my training with the government, was part of a secret mind control program, very abusive, but we're not getting into that stuff because that's already old. What's new is what was found in this government program, and there were supposedly several other programs. I was in the original one that started in Germany, the original one by Americans, because it was a continuation of a Nazi program. So, why am I happy today? Because I reconnected with something I really like, which is not politics, but is business. I want to tell you that after 9/11, was a lot of years ago, I sketched the human energy field of people. And what I found was that people were in a state of shock. Makes total sense. From that place, many laws were passed to ensure that 9/11 didn't happen again. And that is a habit humans have. Something bad happens, and then you protect yourself from that never happening to you again. You never ask that most important question, which is, why did I need for this to happen? Because when you ask that question, you find out why you have that karma, because karma is about what you need. It's not about people behaving badly. If people have to behave really bad to get you to wake up, that's what they're going to do. That's what's happened to the United States. Everybody was asleep. How did this get so completely insane with all of the stealing, the money all over the place? People weren't paying attention. They were asleep. Okay, so after 9/11, in the human energy field, and I'm going to put up the sketch that I always show you, your assemblage of body, which I think most of you don't accept that you really have all these bodies, but you do. This is not new information. This is old information. So you see that gold body that reproduces, it can duplicate itself. So you can have subpersonalities, multiple personalities. In Buddhism, they call them aspects of yourself. But after 9/11, that body, rather than being very connected and aligned with your physical body, that body turned to the side. And because I'm not a great planner, I did not go look for my sketch that I did after 9/11 that I was able to get on TV, on news and Univision, not aware of how important what I was documenting was. So after 9/11, everybody was expected to go back to work. And we did. And wouldn't it be great if right now I could find, here, I found it. I'm going to read to you the beginning of the article that I wrote after 9/11. And I'm going back to it because that's where we are again. What is the shock this time? All of that money, billions of dollars, maybe trillions that went. It's really obvious if they didn't allow a tracing and a tracking that it didn't go someplace that we would have approved of. But this is what I wrote after 9/11, and this is what we have to get back to get the country back on track. I'm reading it literal. I wrote it in January 2002. So 9/11 was in September, 4 months later. This article was written 9/11, yet it applies to the business world today. Well, because of the collapse of our, it applies today. And I was writing this, okay, I think 2010. Anyway, did emotions move? Did you know our energy field changes with each and every thought and emotion that flows through us, whether we know it or not? Even as you read this article, your reaction to these words changes the colors and configuration of your energy field. As you react to your environment, there are subtle changes in your emotions which affect your energy field. These changes are called moods. Our emotional response to the events since September 11, 2001 have resulted in widespread post-traumatic stress syndrome affecting our mood. Most of us in the business world went into a state of shock, almost not reacting at all. And as the days and weeks went by, our emotions were put away as new shocking events grabbed our attention. Not only did we not process our reaction to the September events, we added on fears of war and how it was affecting the business world in general and our companies in particular. Our reactive emotional responses of anger and fear are held within our energy field. Yes, we cannot expect to resolve the world's political, social, and economic crisis easily, and most of us cannot do anything at all about it. Yet we can and should address our mood for many reasons. Whether it's an unconscious feeling or a feeling we're aware of, our moods contain energy. This energy is very real. Everything we touch, we transfer our energy to, whether it's a cake we bake, the way we stroke a small child, a letter we write to ask for a raise, or a sales pitch. Many people are now aware that our energy field is more important and truthful than the smile on our face that often masks what we're truly feeling. What is post traumatic stress and what does it have to do with productivity? Human beings cannot go through a high level of stress, such as what happened since 9/11, and not have an emotional reaction, whether the person knows it, shows it, or not. Most of us agree that life changed after 9/11, and most of us would say that our world will never be the same. The self assuredness we felt living and doing business in America, gone, replaced by some very real fears, such as recession anxiety, and not so concrete fears as what else can they do to us? All of this information and our reactions are contained in our energy field and needs to be worked through and processed. The need to reduce this post traumatic stress is more important than ever. We have not really recuperated for the traumatic events of 9/11, and more may be upon us. In the business world, there's a word used to describe workers and employees that are not fully committed to their jobs, disengaged. We're talking about all those people that couldn't even respond to one email that Elon suggested that they respond to make sure they were alive. Disengaged employees are going through the motions of working. The problem of disengaged employees has augmented dramatically since 9/11. We're now in 2025. I wrote this after 9/11. Post traumatic stress creates a type of disengagement that is vastly different from the typical disengagement of unsatisfied workers. This type of disengagement affects a wider range of employees and can include staff that is normally very loyal and vigilant about their job and organization. In checking the energy fields of employees and managers since 9/11, it has become obvious that many are not mentally present or engaged in their jobs or responsibilities. The keen attention required to keep the competitive edge is often absent from employees across the board. They're showing up to work. 2025, they're not even showing up to work. They have a mental commitment to their job, but the razor edge performance, the single pointed focus, the mental commitment is no longer the same for too many in the business world. If the business world were a country and that country had been attacked as unexpectedly and brutally as the business world was attacked physically and especially psychologically in 9/11, it would be assumed that the people would have post-traumatic stress and there would be appropriate sympathy and therapy. But in the business world, it's always business as usual, as if being in business actually created human beings without emotions or emotional responses. We have neglected our human resources, which now I know they call human capital. That is what I wrote after 9/11. We're in 2025. Employees are even more disengaged. I'm afraid to look up the latest statistics. The ones I have are from 2015. 85% of employees are disengaged from their jobs. Do you really expect this country to continue to lead the world having to do with being stable economically and even prosperous? Prosperous, by the way, means having what you need. It doesn't necessarily mean gold. Maybe gold won't be worth anything one day. I doubt it. But maybe it won't be worth anything, at which time being prosperous will not include having gold. You have to be flexible. You have to change with the times. So, with that in mind, I'm going back to my business book and getting it out as quickly as possible, which shows the changes in the energy field. But before then, we need to get back to stress management. We need an investment in human capital. We cannot expect, demand that people, we can demand that they come back to work, such as what's happening in the government. This is good. We need them committed. I'm working with somebody right now that is sabotaging in very subtle ways in terms of my company. Toleration is not a good thing when you're in a place of either growing very big or just sinking into mediocrity. And it's good that somebody like Elon Musk is in charge of waste and figured out that employees that work for the US government need a lot of attention. I applaud him for what he's doing. Now you have to provide resources for people that have been limping at least since 9/11. And then you have the whole COVID thing. You don't think the whole country didn't? We went into shock. I will never forget visiting my family after the COVID, and I getting out of my car and having a grandchild that I have who's very heart oriented. He's a Leo, and having him run up to the car and saying, "No, abuela, no, you can't get down. You can't come here." And I was like, "Oh my God, what happened now?" And he said, "No." And I said, "I don't understand." He said, "You could get sick. You could get sick." He was concerned that I was going to get COVID. He had sheer fear on his face that because I was old, in his estimation, probably in yours also, I had to be put away and protected. Come on. Come on. What do you think that did to us? Stress management. Good stress management. So before I give you the map, I'm going to tell you what we're doing, the Mantrista movement with Venezuela. This is like really interesting, okay? This is really interesting. By the way, if I keep dropping numbers of people, I'm going to end up at zero. Right here, it doesn't look like that this chat is up on X. I'm going to check for a second and see if it is. But I will definitely, nope, we're not up on X. Who knows for what reason? Okay. Definitely, if we keep getting more numbers, I think I'm going to be asked to leave the internet. Give me a second. Let me see if I can. Yeah, X is up there, but I'm not up on X. I'm going to check again because I really hate making mistakes like that. Nope. There are all of the, I'm not up on X. Let me try one more thing. No, I'm not up on X. I did click X. I'm looking at it right now. It's okay. So I'm not going to get anybody from X listening to this because it's not showing up on X. They're having a lot of cyber attacks. So, and I lost my train of thought because I went off and I did not keep my single pointed focus. What are we doing with Venezuela that would apply to stress management? Yesterday, I had a chat. I did the astrology for Venezuela, and it was like a little bit crazy. And I said, this is really weird. I should have at that point stopped and say, why is this reading weird? Because I did not feel it was about Venezuela. I didn't. I went ahead and gave a chat at night to where we would get together and do whatever mantra would be appropriate to support a graceful transition of power in Venezuela. We don't get involved in politics other than that type of thing. The country chose, we want to support that it be graceful and not it be the usual institutionalized violence that changes power in too many countries. Okay? And I kept having to change the mantra. It wasn't working. Afterwards, I realized that somebody from Venezuela, from the government, was doing black magic on me. That's not unusual. We already know that. The point of the matter is that by the end of the chat, I was like, I'm not used to not being effective. I'm not used to things not working. And I'm willing to hop and skip really quick to shift and then look and see why until I reach a point where it's working or I have an understanding. I couldn't get any place last night. I finally said, okay, here goes. We have got one foot in the golden age. Venezuela is a country where the major consciousness of its people is angelic. Trump is angelic, which explains so many things. Okay, so I said, how about if we do a visualization and all of you visualize an angel next to you? And then later on, I said, visualize the Virgin from Venezuela, visualize visualize the four archangels, and we're putting up a map of Venezuela with the four archangels, one in each corner. I need to figure out what corner they're supposed to be in because they do correspond to a northeast west. Okay, that's the Indian medicine wheel. They have it in the archangels. And then today I realized, wow, because why do you need a problem? Why did I need yesterday to realize that I was not in control of what I was trying to do with my group with Venezuela? We've been working with them since 2018, and we have achieved our goals. The only one is we need for the dictator who was voted out to leave gracefully. He can't just leave; he has to leave gracefully, and that will mean that we did achieve our goals. And I could see it yesterday. Somebody built a little bridge, a golden bridge, offering him money to leave. And I think it's going to happen. And this is good. But because of that problem of me not having a grip on my Mantrista movement group and giving the right mantra, I had to go deeper. And I went into what we now have to apply every place, including the United States. We have to make doing business, politics or financial business, be supported in the other dimensions, which all of you call spiritual. Black magic is spiritual. White magic is what I'm teaching you. That's spiritual. So yes, it's all spiritual. Your intention is what makes a difference. So if on the physical dimension, you have a lawyer that you have access to, an accountant, probably a bookkeeper, maybe a bookkeeper. I'm still struggling with that. I'm terrible when it comes to money. I'm terrible in it's never been important to me, but because of that, too many people have taken advantage of it. I have to set things in place for that not to continue to happen. So if you're in the other dimensions and you want to be part of the golden age, but be really effective and not lose what you've already gained on the physical dimension, which in this case would be the United States being kind of like the head or the lead, having to do with prosperity, whatever. That's why all the immigrants come. Then you better figure out the whole thing with the other dimensions. You're going to need that support because we're becoming increasingly spiritual. The lenses are opening. And that increased spirituality is not happening in Sunday school. It's going to not happen in the Catholic Church, especially once this Pope dies and the whole church collapses, once everybody is able to get out of the shock of how deeply involved in sex trafficking the Vatican has been, which is shocking. We have to go, okay, widen the lens. What do we do in terms of our business? That's not putting up a poster with the Virgin when you enter the door. That's not encouraging people to go to Mass every Sunday or to go to whatever worship. That's not saying go back to your religions and hold their hand so you can be stronger, because most people are walking away from their religions. And honestly, the religions were appropriate for the time that we lived. Age of Pisces, slap you on one cheek and you turn your face and they slap you on the other cheek. That is not the age we're in. We're in the age of Aquarius. We're entering it. Age of Aquarius, superpowers, incredible technological expansion, expanded spirituality. Also, increased augmentation of mental illness. Got it? So how do you do that? Let's say the United States. How do we ensure that the United States is spiritually at the level of what used to be and we would like to have be our prosperity? And that is what needs to be worked out. So as an example, which is one of the reasons I really enjoy the whole Venezuela thing, because I can run around and shift back to this country. Venezuela, they're mainly angelic. I don't think that's the case with the United States. So once I said, everybody visualize an angel next to you, the whole crowd settled down. And today, when I was giving instructions to get some graphics to put up on my post, as soon as I can figure out who's going to be able to actually deal with posting, it was exciting. So we're going to do a map of Venezuela, and on each four corners is going to be the four archangels. And we have one of the virgins. Uh, we're going to have her photograph, and we are going to have suggest to people that not only should they have an angel next to them, and yesterday I said it, you need to visualize angels and the archangels next to the duly elected officials. Because what I saw was the dictator wanting to leave, ready to leave, and the duly elected officials, government, their knees were buckling. They're angelic. You think their knees are not going to be buckling? Of course they're going to be buckling because they have an access, their spiritual power. Power is in the other dimensions. They think it's just them against the dictator who has a military behind him, supposedly. It's not just them against the dictator, the new people that were duly elected. It's angelic consciousness wanting to reclaim their land for their people, but they're not using their spiritual power because we're not used to it. We're used to the cut. Does that mean they should run back to church and go twice on Sunday? No, because the churches have taken away our power and said you can only have it through us. No, 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 no. Original Lord's Prayer does not say deliver us from evil. It says help us to be in the moment, in the present. So we need to incorporate spirituality without it triggering, or maybe it will trigger certain people. No, but that's religion. It's spiritual power. Am I suggesting that you have virgins all over the place, and every time you send a note to your employees, that it have a Virgin Mary on it, or that it have the archangels? No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that. I'm actually more suggesting images that we would find compatible with Buddhism. Why? Buddhism is not a religion. It's extremely effective, and it is totally valid today. And you know what? They did something which made me crazy for years. They don't talk. They send 9 monks. They don't talk. They're very pleasant. They're fun to be with. They don't talk. It's really good that they didn't talk. But Buddhism is a philosophy of the mind. I discovered the structure of the mind. So maybe that's why I am impressed and think that we should take advantage. But don't do the Buddhism. Do something else. Figure it out. Ganesh is the elephant that is representative of prosperity. And a lot of people have elephants near their front door. The elephant is the animal that symbolizes root chakra, prosperity, security, safety. And when I've been working with Ganesh lately, and Ganesh shows up by himself because I don't call him in, he's on his back with his 4 legs moving in the air like a little dog that wants you to rub their belly. Figures of Ganesh that represent symbolically the rooting of prosperity. I don't have all the answers, but man, I'm getting closer to them, and I'm back into the business world. You see the smile on my face? I'm back into the business world, which I enjoy being. I enjoy being in this place. So let me look at my notes and see all the things that I forgot to tell you, and then we're going to do the map. Okay. The whole thing with spirituality. Let's talk about mission. Totally spiritual, totally spiritual. Now, Venezuela has been very spiritual. There's not a person you meet in Venezuela, even the men, that don't know about aromatherapy and Reiki, but they're angelic. They can't stand dealing with darkness. They don't like it. That's not where they're at. You have to deal with the darkness. There's no light without dark. And so that's a big handicap that they have, that we're trying to correct now in terms of trying to get people to look at their dark sides, what the Mayans said we had to do. So, but how did spirituality play out in Venezuela? Well, the dictator, and I think this was in all the news, I'm not sure that anybody ever said it didn't happen. It was in too many places. The dictator, apparently, somebody in the government, the part of the military part, dug up the grave of the biggest figure in Venezuelan history, which is Bolivar. who was the one who liberated the Americas. I don't really have the story straight, and I don't need to have it straight. But they dug up his bones to have some pieces of the bones to do rituals. Well, that is integrating spirituality into politics and business. Most people are aware that Castro was able to keep himself in power with what, 50, 60, 80 plots against his life because Castro was totally into spiritual, Santeria, black magic. And he was able to stop everybody with a lot more resources than he had from taking him personally down. Now, in all of that, is there like maybe this secret agenda never to totally take him down? Perhaps. But he definitely, because he didn't just have the United States as an enemy, he had a lot of people internal, whatever, and he never got taken down. But everybody who kind of is in the know knows it's because of the incredible level of spiritual protection that man had around him. Why can't we have that in the United States? But with positive intentions, with spiritual figures that people can admire or at least not react against. Positive intentions, integrating positive intentions. Somebody here says, I'm one of your 7 followers. No, you're number 8, pure blood. You are number 8. Um, so, Ganesh, and you'll enjoy Ganesh. It's an elephant that's fun. Oh my God, associating fun with business? Yeah, you can do that. You can actually do anything you want because you create reality. So let me go back to my notes. So we have Venezuela that did integrate spirituality. They took over, supposedly the richest country in the world. Maduro, Chavez before him. I think it was Chavez, the one who dug up the bones of their, I don't know, what do you call them? The revered Bolivar. Then you have the Mayans. Very important because in archaeology, it's the biggest question mark. What happened to the Mayans? They weren't destroyed by any catastrophes. What happened? Very spiritually evolved, and they knew that they had to train their spirit body, the astral body, may the force be with you, that body, since infants. And that was what I wanted to get over there. To get, how did they train an infant for that? I don't know. But they did. And they were able to transition, ascend so gracefully that it's the biggest question mark today in archaeology. Obviously, and their mission, one of their missions was to leave that information for us today so that we can transition, ascend, go into the golden age gracefully, rather than having some catastrophe wipe us out, which you know that the catastrophe issue is every 15 seconds, there's a new angle of how we're going to get wiped out. So we got to get down there. So I'm going to say something now, and I probably shouldn't say it. So then, you know what? I'm not going to say it. I should listen to my instincts. So what do we have here today? We have Trump. He is obviously on mission to make America great again. If he did not have that mission, he would have been gone by now. He would have been dead. Simply sheer hatred, reaction against what everybody has done to him, thought about him, sent to him, just the unfairness of the whole thing. Because honestly, it has been incredibly unfair. It happens to a lot of people. He's not the only one. He didn't let them take him down because his focus was his mission, his mission, his mission, his mission. By the way, that single-pointed focus has a name. It's called Ekagrata. When I teach business, I teach it's single-pointed focus. And here we go. And this is what it looks like. That karate master is not paying attention to anybody's opinions. He's not paying attention to opinion polls. He's not paying attention to anything other than what it is that he is intent on doing in that case, which break the board. In the case of your employees, is there a clarity there? Or is there right now in this country, in terms of people working for the government, they don't know if they're going to have a job. I am not questioning what Elon Musk is doing. What I'm saying is we are missing an opportunity. We need to take this opportunity now, and we need to give them something to hang on to. We need to do modern stress management that takes into consideration the fact that I already discovered what string theory is, what those strings are called, mind streams, and how they can be used so that they focus on one thing which has to do with business while they're doing business, when they are supposed to be in the offices once that they get threatened and coaxed back into the offices. It cannot just be a hammer over their heads that they're going to lose what they have. If that's what you need in order to clear this up, there's no issue. But you can't leave emptiness after that. You can't. Not very many people are like Trump and Elon Musk, that if there's no positive coming in, they're going to keep going anyway because they're aligned with their mission. It doesn't really matter. I say, I'm going to compare myself to them a little bit here. I say that my life has been like going through a gauntlet. You don't know what a gauntlet is. GAUNTLET. When the American Indians used to capture white people, they would take some of them and they would create two lines of Indians with a space in between. And that white person had to run down that space, that's the gauntlet. And the two lines of Indians would be hitting and beating and tripping. And if the white man made it to the end, they could live. Well, a lot of us that are trying to do what we're trying to do in a world that really wants us to be quiet and disappear, it's like running a gauntlet. My life has been running through a gauntlet. It still is. But it doesn't matter, because if you have a mission that you're in contact with, and it doesn't have to be that you know the specifics, but that you want to do something that is the good for humanity, and that makes you feel good. And so what is it? I don't know, but that's what I want. That is good enough. You're going to go through that gauntlet, and chances are you're going to make it to the end. It's when you start reacting to the sideshows that are there to distract you and to take you down. If you don't have that mission, if you don't have that feeling, you're just going through a gauntlet and you're going to get taken down. Probably already were. So how do we fix that? I got a plan. We can fix this. The trick is to get it out in a way that's fun, interesting, stimulating, and that it does not stimulate an excess of hatred having to do with this is the work of the devil. Let's start with the fact that the devil comes from Orion. Oh, that's a planet, or it's a group of planets. I'm not really sure. Okay. You want to discuss ETs? Oh, you're working with the devil. Okay, so I'm working with people off planet. Maybe you want to talk to me. That seems like a lot of power. Oh, your priest works with the devil already. They do exorcisms. Don't be telling me things that I can't put a mirror up and you're looking at your set. We have to figure out. That has to be figured out by somebody in PR, marketing. How do we not allow people that want to hang on to a version of spirituality that is not applicable today? Do not talk to me about Jesus Christ. If you have an army, do not talk to me about Jesus Christ. If you think it's okay that your kid goes into the army, do not. Go ahead, let your kid go into the army. Go ahead and have your army, no problem. But don't talk to me about Jesus Christ. Don't. Do you spend your time reading a book that was written 300 years after he died? And you're not living like him? I'm living like him to a great extent, especially now that I can't leave my house. Are you? Don't you be pointing fingers at me. And don't tell me, well, you're misinterpreting. I'm not misinterpreting anything. We all know that the first thing Jesus Christ did was cast out spirits when he was going to give a healing. Do not talk to me about Jesus Christ as if I was manhandling the information. No, Don't do that. But I guess we can't tell the public that in general. Because, first place, it's not about me. It's about not reinventing the wheel. It's about we're in an incredible place, an incredible place. Applying this information with one foot already in the golden age, and obviously we are, if not the US map would not have those Merkabas on top of them. This is like a very exciting place to be. How quickly can we do the turnaround? Well, I'm going to go back to my book on sex. I'm back and forth with the editor. I went back to her, who I knew would be looking at me with a really long face because she said, "You can't put this out." And she doesn't have the long face anymore. She's like, how about you, Francis? Let's keep distance. Why don't you do an introduction, disclaimer? I put 7 continents between you and the content of this book. And I went, that's a really good idea. And that's what we're going to do. So why am I breathing and why am I a little bit sad? Because there's something I have in the book. And I'm afraid people are going to trash the book because of what I have in the book. And it's not about sex. Because I'm okay if they trash it about sex because they don't know anything anyway. So going to talk to me about, give me a break. You don't know anything. I'm not that I know that much more than you, but you don't know anything. But I'm putting something in the book that people are going to say, that's the reason why she wrote the book. She wants to support Elon and Tesla. No, it's not the reason why I wrote the book. This book was written years ago. But when I went back and put it together and I ended it with something I'm going to show you now. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm going to show you now. So you're just going to have to be patient and wait while I make sure that I get it up. Oh, it's not in the format. Okay, whatever. You're not going to be able to see it as well as I would want it. Give me a second. We're going to do this. Where are you? You're right here. I love what I do, and that is the truth. That is the truth. I do love what I do. And this is a very exciting thing that I do. I discovered this years ago. Okay, here we go. Do you see that map? That's your map. Oh, darn, they left the 2 bodies. I only wanted one of them. Okay, this is getting edited now. This is your physical body, and then the second body is your astral spirit body. You can ignore that, but it doesn't matter. If you align this map that you are looking at, okay, with your front door or the door that you use to enter your home or even your office, and you lay this map on top of the map of your home or your office, you are going to discover so many things. First place, the entrance to your home, you know how in feng shui they tell you to make the door red? It's because the root chakra is red and you want to stimulate strength in the root chakra. The root chakra is Ganesh. That's where you would put the elephant, which again is a fun elephant. It's not a serious elephant. It's fun. So here we have all the issues of human beings, 9 sections. That's the Bagua. Why is it the Fox Bagua? Because I connected it to your physical body, and that connection has never been made before. Another one of my discoveries that is due to having been in an abusive mind control program. I'm not ready to say yet, thank you, but honestly, I would never have reached this level of skill if I hadn't been in the program, which is why I chose before I incarnated. So why am I showing you this now? Because you will notice here that sex is not on here. Okay. So where am I going? I'll tell you where I'm going. your sex is not channeled like your career is channeled in between your legs in relation to your physical body. I'll put it up again. Your career stuff is channeled inside and outside your front door, and in your home and in your body in between your legs. Interesting. Where's your sexuality? Where is it channeled? It's not channeled in your home. It's channeled in your vehicle for transportation, which is your car today. Why isn't it on there? Because this is a map. The Bagua map is 3,000 years old. What kind of modes of transportation did they have there? You walked, or you had horses. Horses have been known throughout history to represent sexuality. So what am I saying here? I went ahead and asked, so where's our sexuality channeled? Because the closest thing would be relationships. And it is true. Your relationships with your mates is channeled there. But where's sex channeled? It's not on the map. It's in your car. Or if you have a bicycle. Or if you ride horses. If that's your mode of transportation. And so I decided, because this map will change the world. Because it is a tool for you to use. It's power. Because when you change something in your home, you change the area of your life that is in that section where you change something. It's power from the other dimensions. So when I said, okay, so where's sex? It's in the car. Okay, well, I knew that years ago. But when I put together this book that basically has been done for at least 10 years, and I was going to do the last chapter, I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and put something a little bit more fun, which is the thing with the car being about your sexuality. And if you keep running out of gas, I'm not sure there's any exception. It really means you're not really that interested in sex. If your car has to be immaculately clean, you might have a bit of an issue with sex that you need for it to be immaculately clean, a little bit difficult. And as I was writing, I went and said, that's why I have a Tesla. This is not a promo for business. Why do I have a Tesla? Dang it. Energy transfers. That man loves cars. He loves his cars. Why on earth? And I said it just like that. Why on earth would I not want a car built by somebody who loves the car and loves the people who buy his car because he wants them to be okay? Why would I not buy that car? Pretty obvious. Of course I would buy that car, and I did. Most people are not that thoughtful. They don't have that information. Anyway, I put it in the book, and then I went, you know what? I'm going to get accused of so many things. You're working with it. No, I'm not working. I've never met the man. Hello, I adore him. Poster boy for the new age, and poster boy for business, but we need to add the stress management, Elon. So I know that when the editor gets this, she's going to go, you can't put that in. You know what? It's going in. You don't want to buy the book. Don't buy the book. You want to block it, and make other people tell you what's in the book, because there's a lot of really interesting things in it, including that when you have sex with somebody, you connect with them via these mind streams that you have 72,000 of. They interpenetrate the person you're having sex with. And their mind streams penetrate you. And they don't let go because they have 5 fingers at the end. That's really, and you know how long you stay connected? Up to 12 years. Oh my God, that's right. You can purify. But did you even think about purifying the other dimensions? You don't even purify your bed. You wash the sheets, but you don't purify your bed. You were in your bed and somebody struggled to achieve orgasm. That's a trauma in your bed. You go back to bed, you're sleeping in that. Okay, anyway, we're going to drop that. Why did I get onto this? Not sure why I got onto this other than the fact that I'm pretty happy about my book. It's going to come out. There's going to be a lot of criticism, a lot of yelling and screaming. But maybe, like happened to the person that works for me that edits, maybe that's happening to the editor that doesn't know me, who said she was making it politically correct, and I'm not sure you can do that. I don't think people are going to like this. Now she sounds like, let's give an explanation in the beginning. Maybe when you read the book, you're going, ah, and then you're going to go, wait a second. And then you're going to start telling people, maybe da, da, da. And then, of course, the people uh, that are looking for conspiracy can say, you did this to set Elon up. Nobody needs to set Elon up. Okay. He's already set up. I don't understand why you could buy your kid or your grandkid or yourself a car that is less than the car that protects the most of all the cars that are on the market. If I got that statistic wrong, somebody please correct me. Why would I? Because I told my grandkids that whenever I win the lottery, and I may soon, I'm buying them all a Tesla. If they want another car, that's fine. They can pay for it. I'll buy them a Tesla if they want it. It's okay. Why would I give them anything that wouldn't be the most protective one? And why would I buy a car where the owner, the person who made that car, loves me, doesn't know me, but loves me, and really, really cares for me? Why? That's why it's in the book. He doesn't need my promo. He does really well on his own. But I'm sure, or maybe they won't like what I have to say about St. Teresa. But all they have to do is read her autobiography. So anyway, we are in interesting times, really interesting times. And I am thrilled, actually, at this point, because it's really exciting. Lara Logan has an episode. It's called episode 3, Spiritually Awakening in DC. That was today. Today, Spiritually Awakening DC. Logan, I like you. So I like that person that I helped who would appear to have cleared cancer from her lungs, according to the doctor that did surgery that couldn't understand the 2 biopsies because there was no cancer on them, and the 2 biopsies showed cancer, excuse me, but the lung did not have what the biopsies were showing. What she said was she was going to run over to India because India saved her. India saved her. India didn't save her. She did a mantra for cancer. But she couldn't get it. She couldn't let she was using an old, she didn't hear it. She couldn't get it, even though she understood that that mantra was the one that did the magic. So she said I was the first person she called after surgery. She called me to thank me, and then she ran to India. I'm not sure that she didn't remember that I was in Tibet and not India. I have no idea. So you have to get very specific about these things, but you can do it. That's why the mantras are called point specific mantras. They're not just looking for your spiritual expansion. Let other people take care of that. That's what I say. You want to expand spiritually, just let somebody else take care of that. No problem. Follow them. It's not an issue. I want you to have power on the physical dimension, your physical life, this incarnation. It's my goal. Okay. Thank you, Laura. It's Lara, Logan. Spiritual Awakening in DC. It's a wave. Okay. We are not going to do a mantra. Or should we? No, we're not going to do a mantra today. But I do appreciate you listening. So we have 8 followers. Okay. You love your red Tesla. I love my red Tesla. But I think I'm going to get a blue one, which is what I say in the book. Thank you for joining me. All 8 of you. Bye.